Kaleidoscope, a weekly public affairs program brought to you in partnership with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, Kaleidoscope Magazine, and News Channel 5.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast today. According to the Match Registry Foundation, more than 300 patients here in Ohio are waiting for bone marrow transplants. Dr. Kenneth Cook is director of the Pediatric Blood and Marrow Transplant Program at University Hospital's Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital. He, along with cord blood recipient Nathan Mumford, will be here to explain how you can help those waiting for transplants. Then later on, we will hear from speaker and author Delores Pressley. She'll explain why networking is important and share tips on how to be good at networking. And later in the broadcast after that, Cleveland Job Corps Center Director William Houston will share his vision for the Cleveland Job Corps. Good morning, everyone. I'm Leon Bibb. This is Kaleidoscope, and so we begin. Our first guest, Dr. Kenneth Cook from University Hospital's Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital, the blood and marrow transplant area of it, and Nathan Mumford, who's a cord blood recipient. Good to have you both with us.
Pleasure being here.
Yes. Let's talk a little bit about this thing let's begin at the beginning. Be the Match Registry. Talk a little bit about what is Be the Match Registry.
Excellent question. Be the Match Registry stemmed from the initial Marrow, blood and marrow registry called the National Marrow Donor Program. And it is a national registry where people can join and determine whether or not they could be selected as a, quote, match, hence the term Be the Match, for patients who are in need of a blood stem cell transplant.
And we're going to talk a little bit about that process in just a little bit, but
yes,
I want to bring in Nathan Mumford, who's a cord blood recipient. What's that mean? You're a cord blood recipient, Nathan?
Well, I got my recipient was a brand new baby. We took the blood from umbilical cord from a brand new baby, and that's how they saved my life.
What was your problem? What was your ailment?
I had leukemia. I had AML. I had a 100% chance to die. So we actually stumbled upon this trial treatment at the time back in 2004 of the umbilical cord transplant.
And how are you doing now?
Doing wonderful. No complaints at all.
Cancer?
Cancer-free.
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 And that's what this is all about, right, Doc? We're trying to find matches for people who can make a blood and marrow transplants.
That's correct.
What's the process? What do you have to do? First off, how does it work? What happens when you become a recipient of a blood marrow transplant, when you are receiving from somebody else? What's it do?
Excellent question again. So we'll start, as you said, from the beginning. Individuals who are in need of a blood stem cell transplant, or individuals who have cancer of the bone marrow space, the factory that makes all of the blood elements in the body, or patients who have problems, other benign problems with this bone marrow factory. So sometimes the factory workers are on strike. Sometimes there's a hostile takeover. In the case of Nathan, where he had leukemia that was infiltrating his bone marrow factory and wiping out the good cells. And sometimes the marrow factory workers come to work, but they're just dysfunctional. In those cases, patients need a replacement bone marrow, and that's where a bone marrow or blood stem cell transplant comes into play.
And Nathan was one of those recipients whose life was certainly changed greatly as a result of this. Yeah,
definitely.
And are you speaking on this as you go around Greater Cleveland or throughout the area?
All the time. I actually have a nonprofit cancer foundation. I speak all over Ohio and other states about bone marrow transplants and cord blood transplants. Unfortunately, I was unable to get a bone marrow transplant just because we couldn't find a match. Your brother and your sister is the closest match that you have. My brother or my sister, that wasn't a match. Aunts, uncles, cousins weren't a match, so that's why we went to the umbilical cord.
Ethnicity plays a part in all of this, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, particularly with respect to representation in the National Marrow Registry or the Be the Match Registry.
So you're looking for more minorities to be involved in this?
No question. This is an opportunity to really energize individuals of color to understand how important it is to potentially sign up for the registry and be a potential donor for individuals like Nathan who really need a perfect match, so to speak, in order to have this life-saving procedure.
Let me ask you, Dr. Kenneth Cook of University Hospital's Rainbow and Babies Children's Hospital, what's the process now? If somebody wanted to find out if they could be a match, how do you determine if this person over here will be good for Nathan over there?
there? Excellent. So the first thing is to actually be part of the registry. And the Be The Match has a terrific website that we'll talk about later, where you can go on, and it really gives you a stepwise approach to how you can join the registry. The first step is really very simple. It's a matter of a cheek swab, not even a blood draw anymore.
Just a cheek swab.
Where you take a cotton swab, swab the inside of your cheek, put it in a plastic container, and ship that off. Many times individuals in the area can keep their eye out for registry drives. So many times if a patient needs a stem cell match, they will try to have a drive, sometimes sponsored by a school, sometimes sponsored by their church. So keeping an ear and eye open for those is a way to actually become a member of the registry.
And if they are a match, what happens then?
So if they are a match, their information, a part of their genetic code, will go into a big database. And if they are a match, they will be called. There will be some additional screening questions to make sure that A, they're available, B, they're still healthy, and C, they're willing to actually donate their stem cells. And there are two ways to donate. One way is really maybe a little bit more complicated than donating blood, and another one does involve taking the stem cells from the bone marrow space, a little bit more involved, but in the end, we're talking a couple of days where the donors who are selected to give their stem cells are back to work, back to school, back to their normal lives.
We're talking about saving lives, aren't we, Nathan?
We are.
Your life has been saved.
Yes,
speak to that a little bit. How it has impacted your life, other than obviously saving it.
Yeah.
How it has changed you.
Well, actually, it just hasn't changed myself, but my entire family. My entire family, I had a 100% chance to die. So just by having this transplant and changed my life gave me a second chance at life, basically.
We've got a phone number on the screen where you can call and get more information. As you can see, 888-862-7769, extension 7086. You see it on the screen. There's also a website. And what's that website, Doc? I want to make sure I've got that website correct.
It's www.marrow, M-A-R-R-O-W.org.
It should be Marrow, M-A-R-R-O-W.org.
Correct.
Get more information on everything we've been talking about.
Absolutely.
But you want people to get in that registry.
You can definitely make a big difference in someone's life.
And that's every one of us.
Absolutely.
Can get in that registry.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Dr. Kenneth Cook, who's Director of Pediatric Blood and Marrow Transplant at University Hospitals Rainbow and Baby and Children's Hospital, and Nathan Mumford, who was a cord blood recipient and who is running a foundation as a result of. He's still with us.
Yes,
and
sir.
Glad to have you with us, too,
Thank
Nathan.
you, sir. Thank you,
God
sir.
bless you both.
All right.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I'm going to take a break. I'll be right back in just a moment. We'll talk a little bit about networking after this. Thank you, gentlemen. Good to have you on the broadcast. Good to see you. Good to have you with me for Kaleidoscope today. Speaker and personal power expert and coach Delores Pressley says networking should not be taken lightly. She'll explain why it's important to network and share some tips on how to become successful at networking. When I first got in television, everybody wanted to go to the network.
That's right.
That was ABC, NBC, CBS, that kind of thing. But in recent years, we've been talking about networking, a different concept of people talking with each other. Tell me what it means in your estimation, in your viewpoint, what networking means.
It's really, Leon, about building relationships. Everyone thinks that it's just go to an event, throw their cards. I'm sure you've been there. Someone's just throwing their card out. That's number one, the wrong thing to do. You give cards to people who ask you for your card. You don't just go out there and just do it. And you need to prepare for networking. It's a whole art to networking if you really want to build relationships. Remember, you're helping others. You're not out there to network and get, gimme. If you're doing that, it's not going to be able to do that. People ask me, Delores, how do you have such great relationships with people? And it's an art. I mean, before I go to the event, I prepare for it. I know what I'm going to do during the event, and I know what I'm going to do after the event.
I have people who give me their business cards all the time and says, give me a call. I says, okay.
File 13.
I put it in my pocket and take it home, but I said, now what am I supposed to call about?
Right.
It takes a little bit more. You want to build relationships and talk. And what happens when you build these relationships, when you're talking business and that kind of thing? Sure. What happens when you build this relationship?
Well, when you build a relationship, then people sort of trust you. People do business with people who they like and who they trust. But if they don't get to know you, they're not so apt to call you to do the report, or if you're not building these relationships. When I go to an event, and I tell everyone to do this, have a strategic plan when you go to the event. A lot of conferences we'll put the list of the attendees right on the website. You can go there and say, who would I like to connect with? Maybe send them an email before you go. Looking forward to see you there. Then when you get there to the network, again, cards. Your best business card, Leon, is absolutely yourself, because it's the image that you project when you walk in the room. If you walk in the network place looking down, and no one's going to know you, but when you walk in and have a presence, people want to connect with you. I do a lot with cards. I bend the corner of a card. If it's someone who I know I have to make connections with, I suggest that the viewers take 5 pennies with them. And whatever 5 pennies, you're looking at me like 5 pennies.
Okay, I'm reaching in my pocket now. Let's see what I can find.
Take 5 pennies, put 5 on one side, and then every time I want you to meet 5 people at that event. And when you've connected with that person, then put the penny in the other pocket, or if you have a purse or whatever, ladies, and then connect with 5 people while you are at that event. And then that will tell you that you've done it. Instead of being afraid, don't be afraid to go up and ask people. You know, and that old question, what do you do? People always say that. Say something different, like maybe, what do you spend most of your time doing? So they may not talk about work. They may talk about skiing, or they may talk about something else. And then when you leave, make sure you connect with them. Your fortune is in your follow through.
So it's not only in business we're talking about in personal relationships, friendships, that kind of thing. All of that is vital, right?
It's so important. It's so important.
Let's talk a little bit about the Up Woman Circle. That's one of my notes here. And I've got 5 coins. I don't have 5 pennies, but I got 5.
But at least you know, you remember.
You're with me. I'm going to put this in my pocket now.
So you met me now.
Okay. Although we've been talking a little for months now.
Yes.
What's the Up Woman Circle?
The Up Woman Circle is a place where women can connect up with other women. It's a place to get skills. We have 3 great speakers that are going to be there. It's coming up on August 3rd. And we have speakers there. You just build relationships. Again, a networking event where you can network. Now they can come on out. They know how to network now, right? But yeah, that's what it's all about. Just connecting up, building women, supporting, and then giving them skills. Because I was an elementary school teacher. Some people don't know that, but I was.
But you had to network in the classroom.
You have to network at work,
you had to be
everywhere.
in charge, right? The kids had to believe in you.
That's right.
The students or whomever.
That is
so that's
true.
all. You talk a little bit about these first impressions when you walk into a room and you meet somebody. I've got a minute remaining. Talk a little bit about that.
It is so important, Leon. First of all, again, you want to walk in, you want to stand tall. You almost pull yourself up like you're a marionette. You know, someone's pulling strings on you. Walk in with confidence. As a confidence coach, I coach women and men all over this country about really believing. And I work with them on their beliefs. So you got to believe that I'm going in, I'm going to make these connections, I'm going to build these relationships. Go in that way. And if you start thinking, your mindset, I think I talked to you about that the last time I was here. But mindset is so important. You must believe.
Let me squeeze in one quick one. 20 seconds remaining. Branding. What's branding?
Branding is the image that you're projecting to the world. You're projecting it in social media. If you're out there putting pictures on Facebook and all of that, make sure it's the image that you want to project. Your branding. Ask yourself 3 questions. You know, how do I describe myself? And then get 3 other friends and ask them that. Give you 3 descriptive words. You'll find out that your brand might not be really what other people, how they view you.
How they view you.
Right,
so, well,
right.
So we're all looking at each other, and I'm looking at you, and your brand is AA, triple A.
Thank you, Leon.
Good. And I hope I got a good brand.
Of course.
Well,
I mean, I've been studying you for years.
Well, that's good. That's good. It's always good to be studied, right? Okay, many thanks, Delores.
Thank you.
Delores Pressley, who's a speaker and author in Delores Pressley Worldwide, and she's going to have her event taking place August the 3rd. By the way, where is it?
August the 3rd. It's at the Holiday Inn, Independence in Rockside. Come out there, and I guarantee you that your life won't be the same.
TheUpWoman.com. TheUpWoman.com. More information on everything we've talked about. Thank you, Delores.
Thank you, Leon.
I feel better already.
Oh, yes.
Taking your break. We're back in a moment.
Thank you, Leon.
Worked out okay. Welcome back to Kaleidoscope. The new head of the Cleveland Job Corps is with us today. William Houston is here to talk about the mission of the Cleveland Job Corps and the opportunities provided to young adults to get them ready for the job market. Good to have you in Cleveland, William Houston.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, how long have you been on the job as Job Corps director?
I've been here in Cleveland for about 2 months. I've been in Job Corps for about 13 years.
Okay. Refresh our memory. What does the Cleveland Job Corps do?
Well, first and foremost, it's the nation's largest residential vocational training facility. It's operating operated by the U.S. Department of Labor. There's about 125 Job Corps centers in the nation. And what we do is we provide the basic credentials and certifications for students to gain employment. We have GED high school diploma programs. We have, here in Cleveland, we offer 8 vocational training programs, primarily in 2 clusters. We have a health occupations cluster, and we have a construction cluster that students can gain the necessary credentials to
and the necessary skills
and
to launch themselves.
Absolutely.
After. And what age group are we talking about?
We're talking about 16 through 24-year-old eligible and qualified youth, male and female.
I know you're located at Coit Road over there, at the former, for those of us who've been around, where Fisher Body used to be. Fisher Body Auto Plant used to be at Coit Road in St. Clair on the Cleveland northeast side. What happens when a youngster gets in the Job Corps? Where do you take them?
Well, they start a recruitment process down, and here locally it's at the downtown at the workforce connection, and they go through the eligibility process, and the students, they come in and we take them through what we call career preparation. It's basically an orientation period, but we're assessing the students and familiarizing them with Job Corps, and we try to align them with the career paths that match their interests. And after that, they go into a career development phase.
What's it take to get in that? I mean, I would imagine that a lot of people are trying to get in these positions.
Well, first and foremost, it's a economic development program. So it's a eligibility system where students have to qualify. It's a low-income program.
It's low income, and it's all over the country. You told me how many?
124 in the nation. 125 in the nation.
And I know the Cleveland one has been here since the mid-1960s.
Yes, 1965.
Yeah. What's your vision for the Cleveland Job Director, for the Cleveland Job Corps? You're the new director, 2 months on the job now. What do you envision?
Well, I want the community and the students to see Job Corps as a positive resource. There's a lot of students out there right now that have not been successful in traditional school, and pretty much they're out there trying to survive. And we want the community and the employers to know as well that we are training and preparing young adults for the jobs that are coming up in the future.
Now, these kids who come out, or I shouldn't say kids, these young adults, because you go from 16 to 24, who go through the program, you're pretty good at getting them placed into professions once they get through the program.
Yes, we are required to offer placement service for up to 18 months once the students separate and graduate from the program.
What's the first thing they've got to do? Somebody is out there saying, hey, Leon, hey, William, Houston, I think I would like to at least get some information on the Cleveland Job Corps Center. What do they do from that point on? They're sitting out there right now.
Well, the first thing they do is they call 1-800-JOB Corps, or 1-800-733-JOBS, and they will be put in with a local recruiter, and Job Corps recruits based on the interests. Different Job Corps centers across the nation offer different training programs.
And that number again is 1-800-733-JOBS, J-O-B-S, or that translates to 5627.
Yes.
733-5627, 1-800, it's a toll-free number, or you can go to cleveland.jobcorps.gov, cleveland.jobcorps.gov, and you can get more information on everything we've been talking about. What keeps you going in this now? You've been doing this for 13 years. You must have seen successes that just keep reinvigorating you to continue.
What keeps me going is the opportunities that we provide. A lot of the students coming in the program, this is their last chance. This is their last chance for the ability to be able to be independent and take care of themselves. And providing that education and that training, and along with that, we also provide what we call career success standards, and commonly known as employability skills. Not only give you the necessary tools to obtain a job, but to keep a job, and to see students that leave out with more promise and brighter futures is what keeps us motivated.
So you not only teach them the things they need for a specific job, you are teaching them that whole process of always having a job, or always the mindset to get a good job.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Let me put a phone number on the screen. Once again, it's 1-800-733-5627 or 1-800-733-JOBS, J-O-B-S. You can remember that one. Cleveland.jobcorps.gov. You can get more information on everything we've been talking about. Our guest has been William Houston, Center Director for the Cleveland Job Corps. New on the job here in Cleveland.
Thank you.
But 13 years in the business of the Job Corps, so he knows his stuff. Many thanks. Good to have you with us, and good to have you in Cleveland.
All right.
Congratulations on your new job. I'm going to take a break. In just a moment, we'll hear from my good friend Marcia Maccabee of the Urban League, who always has words of wisdom. But first, these words, especially for you. Here now is Marcia Maccabee, Director and President of the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, always with a thought today.
Thank you, Leon. How are you today?
I'm doing
good.
fine.
It's good to be back.
It's good to see you.
Good to be back.
Good to work with you again.
I know,
We've
absolutely.
Had a little vacation here.
Yes, and we've had some wonderful people on the broadcast in the interim, and so it's been great. I think what I'm particularly thinking about today is, as I heard others on the broadcast today, is the whole notion of positive thinking. I just wanted to pick up on that because I think it is so important, especially in the challenging times that we're in right now in our economy. So many people out of work, and you know, foreclosures going on. Our educational systems are not as strong as they should be, and other things. But I think that what's so critically important to reinforce from all that we've heard today is that, number one, there are systems in place to help people, like the Job Corps, with our friend William talked about. But additionally, having the mindset that if I just get up and do something, that I can help to make things better. And if I don't get stuck where I am, things can improve. And so I just think that that's something that keeps me going every day.
As my mother and father used to say, you've got to get up and get out of bed.
Absolutely.
And start this thing called living. Don't just lay up in that bed.
Oh, no.
If you're looking for work, you got to get out and find it.
That's right. And you got to get out early. And you got to have your skills sharp. You got to have a great presentation because the market is very competitive.
Yeah. And I know the Urban League has been greatly involved in this. This has been one of the philosophies of the Urban League ever since the turn of the last century.
Absolutely.
About being positive and people getting out doing what they need to do. You continue to do that, don't you?
We continue to do that, help people hone their skills, get that resume sharp, even apply online, which is the new way of the future.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to do it for us. We appreciate you being on the broadcast. Always good to see you. Ladies and gentlemen, Marcia Maccabee, one of the great ones here in the Greater Cleveland area, who runs the Urban League of Greater Cleveland. Good to see you, Marcia.
Good to be here.
And good to see you as well.
Yes.
We're going to go. Be well.
Kaleidoscope, a weekly public affairs program brought to you in partnership with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, Kaleidoscope Magazine, and News Channel 5.